Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Just going to give a few more seconds for everyone to join the room. And just going to share my slides. Welcome. So great to see some of you returning. Hope you had a great summer. Great. I hope that helped you with that question. I also have, how do we include our hobbies in our resume in a professional way? I've had people say the opposite, that it's better not to use personal things so as not to appear unprofessional. I know it's hard, you get different kinds of views. Well, that feedback actually was from a recruiter himself, who said, please include extracurricular areas. So on your resume at the bottom, you can say extracurricular and achievements or awards, achievements, and extracurricular. And you could include things there that are your hobbies. If you're a competitor, if you have a hobby, for example, if you've started your own company, that's a great extracurricular to add in here. Volunteering. If you're volunteering in the community, if you've tried to help solve a problem at school or in your community. So, for example, you've done fundraisers. If you've initiated a solution of some kind, if you've traveled and you speak multiple languages, that's a skill, but maybe you've leveraged your international experience. Extracurricular could be sports, especially if you've done competitions. You don't have to win the competition necessarily, but if you show that you have an interest in a team sport, I've had recruiters comment that, they're seeing a trend of teamwork throughout someone's resume. I've had people comment. I know I've had somebody who was a professional in very different athletics, and people have commented on that. So I've actually seen it be more of an advantage, to be honest. I think that you have to use your judgment, and working with a career coach might be able to help you. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that clarifying question. So I will definitely share the slides after the presentation. I see that we've got a number of people joining here right now, so I will definitely share that at the end, so you get another peek at the slides, and I will definitely share that with everyone as a follow-up. Okay? Okay, I've got a great question here. Thank you, Alfred. Is going straight to onboarding, bypassing an interview considered a job scam? So we can talk about this for a minute. It's very important. I want to make sure that you do protect yourself. If someone contacts you, they could have found you online through LinkedIn. They could have done a search. So you want to find out, first of all, how did they find your information? What stood out to them in your application or in your background? If they don't have an interview, you can definitely ask them questions. So, remember the interviewer is interviewing you, but you're also interviewing the company. You want to find out information about the company. Maybe you can search for them online. Maybe you can check online feedback tools like Glassdoor or Reddit or other tools where people give feedback about organizations. You can ask for a callback number. You can search the name of the individual as well. So it's a very good question. You do want to protect the privacy of your information, and you want to validate that the person that you're speaking to really does have an actual job. Okay. So that's a very good question. We will have updated sessions on this topic in particular, where we expand a little bit more on how to protect yourself. I have a question here. What if you have a co-op experience but still can't get a job in a relevant field? A lot of the jobs require a certain years of experience, which makes it difficult for new grads to find a job. Yeah, this is the age-old challenge, and this is why co-op exists. Sorry, I have a cough. Um, but this is why co-op exists. So I would say, making sure that you've leveraged your connections from the co-op role, leveraging your career center, Also leveraging the way you're describing your co-op. And again, you obviously are going to be applying online for jobs, but you also want to take a look at maybe the competitors of the co-op experience that you've had. You want to take a look at being a little creative, leveraging that experience. Maybe you could write a thought paper. You could comment on online with the organization positively, obviously, about your experience or about a solution that you may have from your co-op experience. But you want to leverage that experience through networking at events, by helping to solve problems or offer customer service, maybe helping other students who have not had that co-op experience. You can convert your experience into a leadership experience by helping other students to get that co-op. So it's going to be a combination of networking, being strategic, and identifying different ways to leverage your experience and to target other companies that are similar to the company that you worked with in your co-op. You also want to think about, from the industry that you worked in or from the company that you worked in, what are some of the customers that you could help support? And maybe there are other companies that are similar to the company that you worked in that you can leverage that experience that you had from your co-op. So it definitely is a journey. It does work in terms of networking. It may not be a straight line, but things do end up adding up. I've done myself hundreds and hundreds of interviews over the course of my career. I worked for over 15 years in higher education myself, and I've also hired individuals personally as well. I worked in the banks for 12 years, where I was a recruiter, campus recruiter, but also I helped to hire individuals who were from undergrads to people of the designated groups, as well as individuals on the MBA or master's level. So I've had quite a bit of relevant recruiting experience myself. And I can tell you, from myself and my colleagues who have done recent recruitment, people do end up landing in roles as long as you are consistent and that you are looking not just on the open job market, but you are networking as well. So it will eventually occur for you. You want to make sure that when you're looking at roles, that you are showing as best of a match as you can based on your experience and what's on the job posting, but you can also show your transferable experience. And as I said, the community experience, the volunteering, informational interviews. I've personally connected individuals, and after 10 to 15 introductions, those introductions lead to new introductions. So you can multiply your connections very easily as long as you end up, preparing for those informational interviews or those meetups and you follow up. When you reach out to someone, I think another thing that I find is that individuals lose hope and they don't stay consistent in following up. So when you reach out to someone, you can follow up 3 days after, then 7 days after, and then 30 days after. And, try to understand what is interesting or important to the individual that you're speaking to. It's not just about that job, you're building a relationship. So you want to understand the individual, what they're working on, what they're interested in, and how could you maybe share information or help that individual or help solve a problem in that organization, as I mentioned. So your advice, your opinion, and the way you handle yourself when you outreach and you follow up will leave an impression. And they will find you when they are looking for an opportunity that your name could come up. I've had employees recommend to me candidates that they met at informational interviews or on events. There is an internal employee referral program at most companies. So if you're interviewing and you do a good informational interview, they might recommend you in their own internal talent scout program, as an example. So, keep at it. Don't lose hope. It's like a project. Keep on going, and you will eventually land a role. You may need to land something, maybe not directly in what you were looking for, but it may need to be a stepping stone into the role that you're looking to fill or you're looking to get into. I have someone who says, I can't find volunteer positions in travel. And I did a lot of networking and informational interviews. So that's interesting because right now, there is a very big push on Canadians or buying Canadian, shopping Canadian, and coming to Canada. There are lots of organizations that are promoting tourism, and actually, the hospitality industry is going to have a huge gap in talent. So, if you're looking to work in the travel industry, you may need to think a little bit outside the box. So, maybe you're not just looking at airlines, but you're looking at hospitality companies that have customer service roles. Maybe, not just the airport, for example, but cities. Every city has an economic development focus where they're trying to attract tourists, where they're trying to promote their city. So, depending on the province that you're in, there are so many cities that you could be targeting. Try to take a look at some of those local opportunities in the communities where you live, and asking around, taking a look at some of the sites, recreation parks, conservatory areas. There's so many different areas that you could be looking for if you're looking for travel. So, I would really encourage you to work with a career coach that can help you think strategically, even using AI, maybe asking AI, like, what are some of the companies or some of the similar types of roles that would help me get into travel, just to give yourself some more ideas. But there's so many that exist. I do want to encourage you to continue in that field of hospitality and travel, especially right now when we have such a big focus on Ontario. There are lots of cultural festivals that happen. I live in Durham. I'm in the Pickering area, and every weekend there's different fests. There are different cultural music fests. At Harborfront, there's a whole bunch of different opportunities where you can volunteer for local community events. And all of these events will help you to build networks and connections where you would be able to build up that experience to help you in your goal of travel. So hopefully that helps. I want to wish you good luck. I think that that is definitely an achievable area, and I encourage you to take advantage of the career coaches at your school or community, non-for-profits, and also reaching out for additional assistance in your local area. Where is the location of Devon's office? So we're actually, our home office is in London. Thank you for asking. And we actually have an opportunity coming up in the fall, which will be Get Hired at Home, London edition. So we're focusing where we work. And also we partnered with the City of London and the Economic Development Area of London. So we are going to be offering that in the fall. It's going to be on November the 5th. And we are going to be bringing in local employers in the London area, not just Devon. We also offer virtual opportunities as well. So thanks for that question, Florian. I have a question here. Are there any volunteer opportunities in healthcare? Absolutely. The healthcare system has tons and tons of volunteer opportunities. There are also so many non-for-profits that work to support mental health, well-being. If you just Google or search, and again, as you start taking a look at, reading, following influencers, whether that be on LinkedIn or Instagram, there are so many newsletters that you can subscribe to. And a lot of these newsletters offer jobs and they curate jobs for you, including volunteer opportunities in healthcare. I would say that working in the hospital as a volunteer is very competitive. There is a process, so you definitely want to get involved in doing that. For a lot of the volunteer positions, you do require to have a police check, especially if you're working with vulnerable populations. And you also may need to do health checks. So just something you may want to do in advance to help you along that goal. And I just want to mention to you that we also had at our last career launch conference, we had someone speak from the PSW perspective and the healthcare perspective. She actually offers opportunities training for those who want to work in the rural parts of the country in healthcare. So healthcare is still a huge need right now. There's not just volunteer, but full-time and part-time opportunities in healthcare. So I definitely want to encourage you to continue your search there as well. Excuse me. So I see here someone's asking, I added on my resume the projects I did to cover more experience in my field. Fantastic. Great. I'm glad you did that already. That's wonderful. Okay. Someone's asking, how long do how long do you have to volunteer at Devon? Well, with our volunteer opportunities, it's usually like a semester long. And the ambassador program, the description is outlined there. There's a certain number of hours per week if you want to be a part of that program. But we are very flexible. So it is a structured program where we do recruit volunteers, and a very high percentage of our volunteers have actually gotten co-op or full-time jobs. So it's a testament to the fact that volunteering does convert to full-time. So I have someone here who's studying global business management. Welcome, Monica. And I have a question here. I'd love to know for candidates with international experience, what's the best way to highlight transferable skills when applying for marketing roles in Canada? So this is a great question. Monica, I'm happy to chat with you one-on-one about this because I'm very passionate about helping newcomers as well as understanding how you can assist in your transferable experience on your resume. But for example, if you have international experience where you've been promoting B2B products, where you've had ideas for campaigns, you've done not just developing marketing assets, but there's so many different functional areas of marketing. So if you've done, writing campaigns, designing, if you've helped, as I said, to promote products or services back home, if you have social media metrics, if you've helped to show the brand of the company, and maybe what you want to do is in your resume, maybe highlighting the name of the company and describing it in under one line, like the name of the company and then the description, that would be very helpful as well. If there are certain marketing words that you're not sure of, this is a great conversation for you to reach out to people who are marketing professionals and talk to them and say, I'd love to hear about your marketing career. What were some of the projects that you work in? How do you measure your success? I'd love to learn more about how do I describe some of my relevant marketing experience from back home. Would you be willing to meet with me? So this is a great conversation for you to have with people who are in marketing. Again, I'm not sure if you were on the brand side or if you were on the social media side. Or if you're more of a writer. So depending on what part of marketing you have experience in, definitely reach out to professionals on LinkedIn, alumni from your school, reaching out and asking for suggestions from people that you know, from your school or your community partners. Take a look at influencers who are posting, reaching out to them as well. You have nothing to lose by asking someone for an informational interview to learn about their background. I've had lots of people reach out to me online, and I try to do as much informational interviews as I can. So I think that I would encourage you to use that definitely as an opportunity for conversation. I have a question here that says, could you post the name of the job aid/recruitment agencies for newcomers? There are so many. Every community has a non-for-profit partner. If you take a look on the Devant website, we partner with 10 non-for-profits that assist newcomers to Canada. We also have a sponsor with CIBC, and they are looking to support newcomers to Canada. And they're looking to do networking cafes at their branches as well. So look out for that. So there are so many that would be hard for me to give you just one list, but you can start on the Devant website, take a look at our partners, and then you can take a look in your community. I would start with your city. So if you're living in Markham, City of Markham, City of Brampton, and reaching out there and seeing who they list as some of their preferred partners. But there are some national organizations. I can also recommend if you go onto the Citizenship and Immigration Canada website, maybe I can also send that link in the follow-up note for everyone. There is a list of agencies that IRCC has recommended, and they have different resources on their website based on your location. So there's tons of resources for you to find recruitment agencies and supports for newcomers, especially in your local areas. Oh, wow. I'm seeing lots of questions. I've got to go a little bit faster. We're at 7:45. Thank you guys so much for your questions. I'm glad that this seems to be helpful for you. So I've got a question here from an HR student going to be graduating soon, wants to give any suggestions to get an entry-level job. So I would say, Priya, this would be more of a career coaching question. We will be launching on August the 20th our new Alumni Advantage program. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Definitely, if you are a student working with your school to help you with getting an entry level job. But for those of you who are on the call, I will also share with you some audio links from our career launch conference if you didn't get a chance to attend. It was a free conference and we have it all recorded. It's on our YouTube page, but I also have summaries of the tips, which I shared some of them today with you, which you will get in the slide deck. But I think that you would benefit from hearing some of the comments from our speakers who were recruiters, industry professionals, and non-for-profit and community partners. So hopefully that will help you. And I want to wish you good luck in your job search. There's so many resources here to help you. So someone says, it's the first time I heard to put our hobbies on our resume. Where is the best part to highlight those? So at the bottom, I would say where you can put achievements and extracurricular. You can put your hobbies and any results, like if you're really strong a piano player or guitarist, or if you've been in concerts. So music, sports, if you love the environment and you've done environmental work, if you're a leader or a coach of, football, soccer, cricket, all of those things show leadership, teamwork. They show, if you're a global citizen, for example, if you've traveled, if, there's so many different interesting things you can put in your extracurricular and your hobbies. So definitely use the space, use at least 3, 4 lines on your resume of that real estate to add your hobbies and extracurricular achievements. Oh, this is a great question. So I'm studying a Bachelor of Computer Science and I have an average above 80%. But whenever I look at the job postings, I feel like I'm not ready yet. How do I know I am ready? And also how to do networking when you are shy to talk? Okay. These are great questions. Thank you so much for asking them. Um, you know, I did an entire presentation on networking at the Career Launch Conference. I will also share the audio summary of that, and I encourage you to listen to it on our YouTube page. It's under networking. Those who are shy to network, remember what I would mentioned earlier, you want to do more listening than talking when you're networking. So it really is just about asking good questions, doing your research, and listening. And just listening for, value, where that you could offer value and receive value of the person you're meeting with. Also, there is research, by Professor Tiziana Casciaro that shares that networking, is difficult. It makes you actually feel dirty, in some cases based on her research. So you're not alone in feeling shy to network. But she offers a number of suggestions. So, for example, looking for a higher purpose, being curious, maybe bringing someone with you at a networking event that you can maybe partner with networking. We will be talking a lot more about networking on August the 20th. And through our Alumni Advantage program, we're going to give you more training and more time to practice. We are going to be having a number of speakers as well that will help you to build your networking confidence and skill. It is a skill and it can be learned. In terms of the readiness, this is a natural feeling, especially if you don't have like that direct experience. The fact that you did really well in school, I would take a look at what you learned in your program. Did you do any work integrated learning projects? Did you do any cases or any assignments? You can leverage that experience. Also, maybe doing the volunteer that we talked about or practicing some of what you learned in school on a real project. So, starting up your own company. I've worked with a number of students when I worked in higher ed who developed their own apps, for example. These are things you can do on your own, but you're applying what you learned in school. So think of a problem that you want to solve, or think of something you want to design. Think about, maybe talking to your professors or talking to your network about ways where you can apply what you learned at school. Take a look at cases, competitions, thinking of ways where you can talk to others and maybe come up with a project that you do together for fun. There's so many different ways where you can practice what you learned at school. But in terms of the job, I do want to say that when the job posting is there, You don't need to have 100% of what's on the job posting. When you take a look at the job posting, take a look at what is required, what is an asset, meaning an asset means it's not a must have, but they would love for someone to have that. Recruiters and hiring managers, they always write, everything that they're looking for, but they're not going to usually find someone with 100%. On my recruiting slates where we've been recruiting for candidates, we interview individuals that may have percentage of what we look for in the job posting. I don't want to give you a specific number, but if you see a whole bunch of things listed, maybe those are cause for questions. How important, is this on the job posting? I noticed you asked for A, B, and C. What percentage of the time, are we using that skill or that experience? How important is that in the job? So you can definitely ask questions, but you don't need to have 100% of what's on the job posting. I've even had people who have been networking and a job was created for them based on their skills and experience. So, networking again, talking to people, doing informational interviews, leveraging what you're really good at and what you're really passionate about. There could be jobs that are just created for you as well. So, remember, when you look on the job postings, it's not the only way to find a job. Through networking, you can uncover or create new jobs that didn't exist just for yourself. You can suggest jobs to a company. If you see a company that's facing challenges and you feel you can assist, you can pitch jobs. You can add duties, to maybe an existing role where you can expand your job too to get the experience that you need if you feel like you're missing that experience. So I hope that helps, Mohammed, with your question. It's a great question. What about the emails we get from the so-called agencies that if you reply with the resume, they don't reply? Should we ignore those? Yeah, so this is where I was saying be very careful when you are being outreached to and they're asking you for your resume and you didn't apply to the job. You can absolutely ask questions. What is the job that they're looking to recruit for? What are they looking to hire for? Tell about the company, ask about the job, the hours. Ask them what are the top skills that they're looking for. Feel free to ask them questions before you share your resume. There's so many scams out there right now to get people's personal information. You do want to be careful. So that's a really good question. Great, amazing. So I have a follow up here about the travel. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so welcome. Someone says this is very helpful. You're a PSW. Great. So for those of you who are in healthcare or PSW, again, we had a presentation at the Career Launch Conference. She has programs specifically to help those of you who are nurses or internationally trained nurses, PSWs. So definitely reach out. I will share the contact information in our follow-up, okay? Oh, okay. So I have someone saying that their school is having difficulty in getting them a PSW placement. So please follow up with me individually. I will put my LinkedIn here. Maybe I should do that now. Feel free to connect. And I can give you the connection. So please keep it up. Just gonna go back. Does Devon assist for getting language tests? Actually, right now, we don't do that directly, but our partners do offer this. So I would say maybe you can reach out to our info line and ask for assistance with the location of where you live, and we can help to get that information to you. For those of you who are interested in working at Devon or volunteering at Devon, it's the ambassador program. Information will be shared on our website under events, but we also send out a newsletter and we post it on our LinkedIn. So please make sure that you are following us on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm also going to put my LinkedIn information here. If you have follow-up questions, especially around the PSWs, feel free to reach out to me, okay? Okay. If I could please share some networking tips to send to hiring managers or employers in a certain department that could guarantee a response. So I don't know if I can guarantee you a response, but we do have some templates on the Devant portal. We have free courses with our school partners and our non-for-profits. So you can actually log in. You just go to the login page and you'll get all of the LinkedIn and the networking tips. And there's actually content that will help you here. We also, as I said, have webinars that are recorded on LinkedIn, sorry, on YouTube. And then I also have the resource that I will be sharing as well. Okay. The ambassador program is not just for international students. It was originally intended to assist international students, but now there's such a big need with students in general that we are evolving our programming. We are very community based. We assist job seekers in every city. So the Devant ambassador program will be evolving as well, and it is open. Are there sessions online for the volunteer at Devon or no? Yes. We do offer prep sessions. We do offer training. We offer weekly sessions to get together. So we do support all of our ambassadors and our volunteers. I have a question here. What are some good avenues for individuals with disabilities for a co-op or an internship program? So this is a very good question. So in Canada, there are visible and hidden disabilities. Visible disabilities could be, those of you who are blind, visually impaired, those of you who are deaf and or hard of hearing, individuals who have mobility restrictions, not just those who are in a wheelchair. There are so many physical disabilities that qualify. In addition to that, there are hidden disabilities like a learning disability. There are so many conditions that qualify as a hidden disability as well. As an individual with a disability, you are eligible to ask for accommodation in the interview process. So if you require, for example, more time for a test, or if you require things written, not just verbal, or vice versa, if you require things verbal, not just written, you can ask for accommodations for the interview. In terms of finding opportunities, there are also programs. So each company will post on their websites opportunities and programs if they have them available for people with disabilities. In the past, for example, I worked with a large bank. I worked at CIBC, and we had at that time a specific program just for individuals. It was called the Career Access Program many years ago. For individuals who had disabilities that required accommodation and were having difficulty getting through the recruitment process. So look on the companies, look on the websites. You can research them or Googling them or asking as well when you're doing your informational interviews, asking your school partners, your non-for-profit partners. Sometimes they reach out and they specifically advertise at the school or the non-for-profit partner programs and positions specifically allocated for people with disabilities. So I hope that helps. Again, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one. I'm almost at the end. I know we're at 7:58. I can stay a little bit longer. So I'm going to continue with the questions. Okay, so I have a question here. A recent graduate student from robotics and industrial automation from Conestoga College. Oh, welcome. I had prior experience in piping design, but I don't have any experience in automation. In that case, how do I land an automation job without nil experience where the job market demands at least 5 years of experience? So, I mean, I think you probably have the answer here. I would say that the number one thing to do would be to find a job that could help you build up into the automation role if that's your goal. Obviously, co-op opportunities, internship opportunities, maybe taking on projects where you can get some experience in automation. But even if you did a couple co-ops, it's not going to equal the 5 years of experience. So, in this case, I do recommend speaking with your Conestoga College Career Center and your professors for ideas and what would be some roles that could help you get up to that level, and to look for companies that offer internships or co-op opportunities as well. So I have a question here, again, from somebody in Windsor searching for jobs right now. Most of the agencies require valid driver's license, but I don't have it yet. Ah, okay. So that is something that, I would clarify first of all and let them know that you are in the process. It may be something that you just need to have if they have it as a requirement. So definitely work towards getting that driver's license. So I have a question here from somebody who says, I have extensive experience in my role, but the language barrier is a significant concern. So again, there are so many opportunities for you to practice and get assistance on your English level through non-for-profits like Access, Costi. There's so many newcomer services like the Durham Unemployment Help Center as well. So I would encourage you to take a look at the support services to help you with your language level. I've got a question here. I'm not sure. It just says cold emails after job applying. Yeah, nothing's stopping you from emailing and following up. We do not administer the IELTS or the CELPIP exam directly, but this is something that you can work with the non-for-profits to assist you on, like Costi and Access, Durham Unemployment Help Center. They might be able to give you some resources. The ambassador program at Devon, I have a question. So basically, the ambassador program, we offer volunteer opportunities every semester where you get trained on how to use all of the job search resources and tools, and you help your peers on campus in person. You do presentations. It's sort of a peer-to-peer role where we help your classmates understand how to use the technology, and we train you as a super user. So that's a general idea of what the ambassador program is. And so the idea is that we have like a team of ambassadors across the country that can offer in-person support to their peers. The volunteer takes place on campus, at your campus of where you're going to school. Amazing. So thanks everyone for the questions. That was a lot of questions that we went through. I'm just going to go back into our presentation here. Wanted to mention to you as well some upcoming opportunities that you have access to. As I mentioned, on August the 13th, we will have a recruiter who's hiring for co-op and internships with Well Simple. We will have more events with live recruiters as well to assist you and to help you network. I'm also just going to put up a quick poll here. Would love your feedback on this session. Hopefully you found it helpful. On August the 20th, we're going to be launching our Alumni Advantage program for alumni and recent grads. We have very exciting supports and programs available for those of you who need extra support in networking. And as I mentioned, November the 5th, we have Get Hired at Home London area coming to you soon. So hopefully this was helpful to everyone. It was great seeing all of you. Thank you so much for sticking around. Wishing you all the best. I look forward to staying in connection with you, and please do connect with each other. There's a lot of comments in the chat to introduce yourselves and stay connected. So I will stay on for a little bit. All the best to you guys. You're not alone. Devont is here to assist you. And we offer these sessions every Wednesday from 7 to 8. And we're hoping to see you at our next session. Thanks everyone so much, and have a great day. Bye.